with respect to inflation would cause inflation. Inflation. True rate of inflation was inflation. The inflation of measuring inflation has a lot of inflation. Inflation is a lot higher the inflationary decade. For inflation, worried about inflation, report of inflation, all the inflation, that's the official rate of inflation. How much inflation we have? No inflation. There's no inflation. If they admitted there was inflation, they couldn't keep stimulating the economy and claiming that all the quantitative easing wasn't causing inflation. If they acknowledged that there was inflation, the Fed was inflating it with respect to inflation because they can't see the inflation by creating inflation with the real rate of inflation. An annual rate of inflation between 7 and 10%. That is inflation. The real rate of inflation, you can see the inflation. We are exporting our inflation. And Americans are going to drown in a sea of inflation. Created so much inflation is overstating inflation. There's an old expression, once the inflation genie is out of the bottle, it's nearly impossible to put her back in. Anybody who believes government propaganda that there is no inflation needs to watch this video. We need to dispel this myth once and for all. The public needs to understand the inflation